What is up? What is going on out there in the big old world? I'm James the Sandwich. Once again, world, welcome to another magnificent Terran Tuesday. Hope you are doing well out there. Black Knight, we have an interesting day today because it's just the two of us, baby. And today, I'm turning off my fan. Hopefully, you didn't hear that in the background. Today, we are going to be doing a exclusive interview with a Black Knight, which is you, buddy. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down.
He's down, everybody. Absolutely excellent. Let's see who's showing up in the chat. We have Wrangler, some of our usual. Hello, all. Hope you have a good day. More Officer Grand. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Yes. Everybody's stopping in to say hello. But how have you been since the last time we had a little chit chat up here on the live stream? What's new,
Um,
man?
I'm well. Tired, but that's the because of the usual grind. Maybe harder than usual. Because I'm working on the new book of the from the StarShatter series, the eighth one, and I'm doing the um, reformatting and editing project, which it's planned. I did two of them already this year, um, but this is perhaps the last one for 2025. This is the, the refurbishment of book six, the StarShatter series, and I am also, as you know, from my Substack posts, I'm also working on the Vote Your Adventure novella, which um, all of my readers who follow my Substack, they can steer in the story by their votes. They have a number of choices at the end of each chapter, and then the new chapter is always dependent on their input. So yes, that's what I've been doing.
Now, do
Feb-
those go live today? That like they
uh,
post? When do you post those?
like the Vote Your Adventure novel
Yeah.
is weekly, every
Mhm.
Friday.
Every
The
Friday.
Yes, the like for Sci Friday.
Okay, because this is
Uh,
the one I believe you shared with me, correct? Now that
yes.
the
That
parents. So we
this
got
is
here.
like yeah, this is the third novella of the series,
Yeah.
which I promised at the beginning of the year my readers, and they've been diligently following them and voting. Um, and if you remember, the first one was about mm, a morale officer
Yeah.
character. The second one was about a spacer character, and the third one, is about an ace pilot. And all of the characters, they were chosen by the readers, by the subscribers.
Oh.
I gave them a choice. They chose these characters, so I wrote these novellas based on their choice and their votes. And it's pretty much each of the novellas utilize a different storytelling style
Okay.
and different points of view. Pretty much the second one was perhaps one of the trickiest to write because it was being told from the point of view of the main character who was at this legendary venue, spacer venue on the one of the most famous colonies on the fringe,
Mm-hmm.
Terran colonies. And that was perhaps the trickiest one to write because he was telling it. He was telling the entire tale from his point of view, and as you know, it's not like it's sometimes it's frowned upon. Uh, especially in some certain circles that an author would write from this point of view. But I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
I found a way long ago. I found a way to circumvent certain issues of this. It's not easy, but it's quite engaging if you put in the legwork, and in this case the finger work,
Yeah.
the tippity tappity work, and also some extra research. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
everything is research. Everything is logistics. Yeah. So these like these were perhaps um, the one of my major focus uh, for the year. These three
Yeah.
novellas.
All right.
Yeah, they've grown my channel from about like 200 subs to 600.
Nice. And they're all vote your own adventures?
Yeah, yeah. The three of them are vote your own ventures. But as you know, I've always liked to challenge myself, and especially if something is like a concept or an idea for a character or just an idea. Um, so if my readers gave me these ideas of theirs, or like a wish list, more like a wish list of character types and stuff, or archetypes, and they would ask me if I could um, write something about these, but of course set in the StarShatter universe. I did so, um, and if you remember, we talked about these the famous old school Japanese superhero TV series like Power Rangers and stuff,
Yeah.
and Kamen Rider. So I was there were a number of friends and readers who were fans of Kamen Rider, and they would constantly ask me and talk about that. So I finally wrote a novella, which, as you all know, it's in my included as a bonus in my second anthology, The Blood of Tyrants, and the main character is even featured on the cover. So yeah, that's one of the things that I really love about writing.
Yeah. It's been one hell of a journey so far, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Excellent. Because that's where we really want to dig in, man. Because, you know, what inspired you and when were you inspired to become an author?
Um, a lot of things inspired me, but perhaps the simplest answer would be is that I was loving uh, telling the tales that either no one wanted to tell, or I just really liked the idea of shaping these tales from a simple concept. I love the concept, and I turned it into a more complex story, and I like telling stories. So this is how it started, um, and I'm not sure if I mentioned it earlier, but I may have. Um, I developed um, I further developed storytelling, my own storytelling through um, Dungeons and Dragons. I've been
Yeah.
DMing for many years, yeah. So
Oh,
it
wow.
helped. It helped. It helped. I did it for fun,
Mm-hmm.
but decided that I could actually train myself, because
Uh-huh.
I um, I was severely lacking in certain departments. So as
Yeah.
yeah, people
What were some of the challenges you faced trying to get
some
your
of the
writing into that?
challenges like were uh, the voice of the characters in the conversations in the beginning, because I was not used to like writing in English. English is my third language, and I experienced issues um, with keeping the voice of the different characters during their conversations with other characters. I had like trouble keeping that consistent, their unique voices, and so I had I used DMing and D&D to improvise different voices, as many voices as I could, and forcing myself to constantly think about the different cues in the voices of the
Okay.
characters and the way they talk.
Let's get
So
a
I
bit into that because I'm
yeah,
curious. Like, how did you use D&D specifically?
well, it's the best way to use it is to strengthen your world building and to mostly um, get that desire that many authors have for like over world building stuff. um like, yes, um you don't have to always over world build, like over complicated, but in some cases, specific cases, you need to do it. Like perhaps a little bit you need to do it depending on what your goal is. And let's say, remember that chat that we had about like the soft and hard magic systems in fantasy, and
Oh yeah,
yeah, the soft science, the soft, almost like magic, like the science in space opera, and the hard sci-fi. It's the difference is similar. So pretty much, what D&D can help you with is to um, basically have consistent world building with a number of boundaries and laws that you've set, and you consistently keep these guardrails, these rules, these um, laws, and you remain bound to them, and you are consistent. This is perhaps one of the most um, helpful aspects of using D&D to help you.
interesting.
Yeah, and then of course it's the character craft.
Hmm.
You could test certain characters depending on which system that you're using. You could test them. You could even try to build um, magic items if you're writing fantasy, or spaceships, or weapons, or mechs, anything, and even test them like as a concept, and see if something which you imagine is actually like interesting and sound concept by engaging your idea with your players. If you have players, they will, in many cases, depending on what type of group uh, you are gaming for, in they might like disassemble your idea. They in many cases they would shred it to pieces. Like they will probably tell you things about that idea that you couldn't even imagine. So yeah, it's you are getting um, layered feedback immediately, even before you published anything, which is uh, excellent, absolutely excellent.
Yeah, definitely sounds interesting. I can see how you can use these RP mechanics, which essentially are used to help flesh out the
Oh yeah,
basis of a shared story, to easily transfer it over to prose. You hear that a lot from a number of authors that actually do that, where they take their RP campaigns and turn them into literature, and some of them
Mhm.
sell pretty well. Now, with that, why English particularly? Why did you decide to write in English?
Well, because I had friends, foreign friends, and this was the language that I studied a little bit in school. So they've constantly bombarded me with things about the back then, like the Western comic book market and the fantasy market, and the science fiction market. And mind you, back then, our own market had just been opened to outside um, um, entertainment,
Yeah,
and up until then, we had highly curated, censored access to bits and pieces, pretty much nothing really. Um, and of course, I at first attempted to publish here, but long story short, it didn't work because the publishing houses like the Tradpub, uh, then and now it still is a quite a like exclusive club.
yeah,
Yeah, and they in some cases you can like squeeze yeah, between like the cracks in the gates,
uh-huh.
but you need to grease some palms and like pay them.
Oh,
There are some publishing houses like the smaller ones which they would actually they don't care what stuff like what are you writing. They do not have a list of like approved things that you have to have like this type of character and that type of stuff, political leanings and such. Otherwise they say, oh no, we're not going to publish. No, they these the other ones, they just care about money. If you can pay them,
yeah.
um, if you can pay them, they will print.
Like
They
you're in, pal.
you're in. You just pay us. And we're not talking about like a few $1,000s. We're talking about
Yeah.
lot,
So these
lot.
some big publishers then.
Yeah, some of them, but like the big publishers, most of them they have their framework. They almost like um a gatekeeping frame. Not almost. It's a gatekeeping framework, and you have to have these
Yeah.
these specific things, the check boxes, and if you don't, like they it doesn't matter how good your manuscript is, they'll just tell you to solo, which they did for a number of years. And then I just stopped playing by the rules. I ignored them. and I
Yeah.
self-published.
Now, what led you to self-publishing, or how was the discovery of self-publishing? How did that happen? Like, were you looking for it? Somebody come to you with the idea? What was it?
I was looking for it like after the fourth year, was it, um, of constant um, refusals, because I didn't have this type of character, or that type of
Yeah.
archetype, or this and that. You know what we're talking about. Um, I I got fed up,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I checked for ways of, at first, like publishing in blog format, but then I found Amazon, and I discovered that you could actually uh, have like a formatted book, load it with a cover, and everything fit into place after that.
Okay, okay. So you were at it for 4 years at this time. Did your first manuscript? Let's start there. Right before we go into this 4 year journey, you decided you want to become an author. This is what you're gonna do. What sort of sparked the creation of your first manuscript that led you down that 4 year journey before self-publishing?
Um, well, I kind of I wanted to um, flesh out like a universe idea about this alternate history Earth, complete with all kinds of almost fantasy like elements, because I initially began with pure fantasy, but um, I it was how should I put it? It wasn't it wasn't enough in my mind, in my own mind, and then I decided that I could use one of the oldest, like the first stories that I have, sci-fi stories, um, which became part of the new universe that have created, and pretty much like I've had different ideas, which I kept in a notebook, a really old notebook which no longer exists, and I slowly uh, picked the best ideas and combined them together, and then I tested them to see if these work in different D&D campaigns, before I even began to like forge the StarShatter universe proper. And of course, I had to discard a bunch of them, um, leave the most successful ones. Let's say, for example, the alternate history angle, the different monsters that we have in StarShatter, the races, even the uplifted animals like the hamsters, the gorillas, the bunnies. Everything was pretty much players' favorite. Um, they love it. They loved it, and gradually, I think it was like it took me 4 years, maybe 5 years total, while I was working on the mods of the D&D mods, that to facilitate all of the technology and the space magic, quote unquote. It took me about like 5 years to do the additional historical research and everything else, and then to assemble the alternate history line. Um,
And this is prior to your first script.
yes, yes, yes. I first did all of my world building and the historical research. Um, I even found people, like old people, who lived through the Second World War and other things, and I attempted to interview them, to talk to them. Um, Most did not want to speak, to tell of the past. A few did. I talked to them. I got additional information, which most of it was not uh, sanitized, pretty, um, like from the high school textbooks, and that helped too. So that was even before I began to work on the initial draft. And when I was ready with the first draft, it wasn't in English. I went to tutor of mine. Uh, she was a she was like an editor of a magazine back in the day during the communist era, and I went to her with my original manuscript, and um, she read it and she said, "Oh yeah, it's nice, it's good, but you can do better. Like, and this is everything that you did wrong." And pretty much because of her, I devised the structure of the StarShatter series, like the decalogy structure, with the first book, which would be the intro book, because the original manuscript, it was clunky, and it included the backstories of the characters, um, and it wasn't like the flow of the story was not easy to read. It wasn't a pleasant read. But when I adopted the new format, it suddenly became uh, like it like it's always been there, you know. And I went to with the first draft, I like this final first draft. um I think it was like edited and changed 7 times, maybe 8 times, but it wasn't in English. And I went through a bunch
Yeah.
of publishing houses, and I was
Like
refused.
local publishing houses.
Yes, yes, and I was refused every single time, because I either did not have this, like, oh, where is your um, strong female protagonist? And I was like, well, that's you have a few of them. Um, yeah, but they're not independent though. And I'm like, well, really? They're not? Like, this young spacer lady who is flying on her own exploratory shuttle, and she's exploring the dangerous border of known Terran space by herself, and she's pretty much
Yeah.
fighting by her. She's not, no, she's not strong enough. Um, and well, that's just like an example, but they had other issues.
And what year was this?
Oh, it was like the end like the end of the 90s, the beginning of the 2000s.
Okay, so you've been at this for a while then.
Yeah. pretty
Okay.
much.
Okay, and then what happened next? Like,
Well, I learned that it's not like I realized that it's not going to work, and I switched gears, and I took private lessons when I could because they were expensive. But mostly I learned by myself. Had like some textbooks. I found different stuff on the early internet. Um, Printed them out in the shops, like the printer shops and the scanner shops. I printed stuff. Like I basically did not have enough money to buy like imported textbooks. I had some, but not enough. So I basically printed, um, photocopied
printing them.
textbooks. Yeah, and
Whole textbooks?
yeah,
Whoa! So you just walked around with a huge pile of papers?
yeah. Some of them. Um, some of them later, like I lost them because there was like I had stored them in boxes, and there was like
Mm-hmm.
a water valve like snapped, and there was like loss of books and documents and stuff.
Oof.
But yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I studied. I translated the manuscript, the original manuscript, and I translated my original notes because I had draft notes for the following books, the entire series from the intro book to the 10th book, with specific character development and the plot and the side plots and the equipment of the characters, the advancement of their characters, personal advancement, and joint advancement as a group, and also the villains, because the advantage of adopting the intro book format meant that I had all of this space that I would have otherwise used to cram like bits and pieces of the character backstories and stuff. I now had all of that space for the villains' backstories, all of them. So that was perhaps one of
Nice.
the main advantages. Well, it has other advantages, but that was one of the main advantages. And so one day when after I got some help from an editor, I published the first book, the intro book.
Yeah.
Was I think it was like, again, it was like fifth, maybe sixth draft, English
What
draft.
year is this when you publish your first novel?
It's 2000 something. Give me a second, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been long.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah.
Okay, here's a question though. Before you started, sort of, becoming a professional author,
No, I'm not a professional.
close enough.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah.
Do you live off your authorial work?
Yeah.
Or what do you call that then? So
I
some people who like publish one book and it's like, ooh, I'm a professional author, even though I still got to work at Quiznos. Over here, living off your books and not calling yourself professional all of a sudden. Okay, well, what's your profession?
What's my profession? Well,
besides literature?
Not calling myself professional. That's my profession.
Business must be good. Okay, so what did you do before that? Like, what are you? Where are you working?
I worked like during the last few years. I worked three different jobs, and before that, I worked like on various places. I tried and was like moderately successful, like taking office jobs where I could
Yeah. What kind of
improve
office
my
jobs? Get into
English.
that.
Yeah, like translation, translate documents and stuff from uh, um, Russian, and, well, mostly Bulgarian, to English. Um, and also, I got one job just like for very short time, which my mentor arranged for me. It was like, she said like, you have to see um, how bad the the our local magazine scene was. And so she sent me to one of the magazines. Like, it doesn't exist anymore, but
Yeah.
I went there. I saw, like, she said like, you're going there to see, to like, you don't have to like stay there for much long,
Yeah.
uh, but you have to see like the different personalities, types of personalities that
Hmm.
go there, and how they interact with each other. It will be like a good lesson for you. And I learned to understand what the bucket of crabs is. So that was one of the jobs that they had. But the three
What was it
jobs,
like? Like, what are people like?
well, crabs, they were pretty
Yeah.
much like, they were pretty much sabotaging each other. Um, it wasn't pretty.
Okay,
Uh,
so how do you sabotage each other in a magazine?
well, they all vied for like the coveted position of chief editor, and if they could, they would screw their like colleagues with edits and such. They would even like tweak their files and add like typos and such. Like I said, it was like super petty. It was
Okay.
pathetic.
Now, would these get published in magazines? Just a bunch of sabotaged
Uh,
articles?
no, the chief editor would eventually like he would fix them, but he was like, he knew who the biggest troublemakers were, and eventually he would fire them. He would like remove them from
Yeah.
the editor stuff, because that's like, you're being paid to fix stuff. You're not being
Uh-huh.
paid to screw up other people's articles, and they would do that. And some would do that, not to screw their colleagues, but to screw the journalists and the authors who would submit their articles. And they would
Really?
say, see, like, this is like, she can't write for shit. Like, all of her work is like full of grammatical errors and this bullshit. They would change words and stuff. So yeah, the in this magazine there were like, I think, three editors who actually did not do that. They were the oldest editors, um, but like the younger ones, like, they would engage in that bullshit behavior. So
What was
yeah.
your job there? What were you doing?
Oh, I think I was doing something with the computers. I think I was like maintaining the software and stuff. Like, I was hired for that.
You were
But
a coder?
No, I wasn't. No, no. I just like I was maintaining their software on the computers. I wasn't doing anything else. And if they couldn't, if their Windows crashed, I would have to reinstall it because it was like,
Okay, so you're like a tech guy then.
yeah, something like that.
Just
Like
fix the daily issues with PC.
fix their shit. So pretty much.
Okay, I got a question here for you before we continue. Don't forget what you were about to say. I have a question in the world of StarShatter. If you could be on StarShatter for 24 hours, what would you do?
Uh, just for 24 hours. I'll go to Mars. I'll immediately go to Mars and
Chilling at Mars.
yeah, I'll spend 24 hours on Mars.
Yeah, what's Mars like?
Mars, it's fully terraformed. It took them
Ooh.
a long time to do it. They even though they had the technology, um, they had to plant stuff. Of course, they had to build like special towers, magnetic towers, to
Yeah.
strengthen the magnetosphere of Mars, so the atmosphere wouldn't like fly off, um, fuck off into space. And then they planted a bunch of trees, um, and they brought animals, small animals at first, then like bugs. Before the animals, bugs, microbes, and then smaller creatures. And eventually, they got to the bigger ones, like the buffalo. They planted these
Yeah.
buffalo grass. They had these like giant machines, which in the past, in the beginning of the terraformation, they were like mobile labs,
Mm-hmm.
giant truck-like machines with huge tires. And why Mars? Well, because Mars is one of the probably the most wholesome places, including Luna, but um, they have like various biker Terran space biker clubs
Uh-huh.
on Mars. You also have their giant network of roads, of highways, and you have the diners. You have the special culture of travelers' culture on Mars, and
Mm-hmm.
this is the main reason why I would be going there.
Bikers and diners.
Yeah,
Bikers
and
and diners.
all kinds of farms and then camping sites, and that's I would
Chill
probably
outside.
either go to a diner, or I would go to one of the camping sites and just spend 24 hours there relaxing.
Chill. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mars sounds a lot like somewhere that's not like Mars today.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so where we left off, you are a little tech whiz fixing computers at a
Well,
magazine.
I was mostly installing and reinstalling their software, and on occasion I would like reinstall Windows. I was fixing their like mice, making sure their keyboards were okay. Um, and in rare cases, I would change some of the internal components of the computers with new ones if like they were not working properly, like video cards, LAN cards, etc. And I would make sure that like the basic network that they had was okay. That was pretty much what I was doing. I stayed there like for
Mm-hmm.
like a couple of months, and I couldn't stay for much longer because the environment was quite toxic. So
Yeah, you're talking about the editors. Was anybody
yeah,
else in there, like pulling some shady stuff?
no, it was pretty much them. I think once I heard like a rumor about one of the secretaries. She was stealing supplies, like office supplies, but that was like it was just a rumor, bullshit, wasn't true. And I got out.
You got out
Yeah, I
alive.
got out. Yeah, I got out.
Okay, and what was next for you after that? Once you had this experience under your belt?
I worked on like few seasonal jobs, temporary jobs in different places. I worked on two different construction sites. One was like small hotel, and the other one was a residential building. And I didn't like do because I was unskilled labor. I was just doing like the carrying stuff, carrying bags of, let's say, cement, or buckets of cement, or like stirring cement, or um
Was that one of your three jobs?
no, that was before the three jobs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just spent some time there, pretty much anywhere that I could find like some unskilled uh labor position job. um and that was while I was still in uni, because I had to pay the bills. I had like some help, but it was like you needed more. And after uni, after the everything, I moved to another city. I first found a job in like a big job. It was an office uh, building. There was like this one of the translation jobs that they had. Um, and after the company um, dissolved itself pretty much in a month, I think. I found another job, which I thought was to be a temporary job, which was retail. And
Retail. Classic.
yeah, classic. From
Yeah.
this job, like I eventually used this job to find two other jobs, because I was paying loans back then. And pretty much one of the jobs was in an underground storage unit, which was perhaps like the hardest job. The other one was still in that retail position, which I slowly grew up in the quote unquote semi corporate ladder. Um, and the third one was my secret job, which I'm not going to tell you what it was. And pretty much that was like the late period where I was continuously working on
Yeah.
the English draft, the translation of all of the follow up drafts of like the next books. And when I lost the jobs, I was already prepared. Everything was set up, so I could
Yeah.
publish. Yeah.
Okay. So, were you employed when you first published that?
I was, yes, I was. I think one of the last jobs was still active,
Clinging
but
on
pretty
to a job
much,
there. Did jobs
yeah.
just kind of come and go over there? Like they're available, you're working for them, disappear?
Depends. It's depends who is like who is doing what in the European Union and who is doing what here, because they pretty much bankrupt a bunch of companies when they begin to shift things, to stir things up, and a lot of people lose their jobs, and then you have to find another job. That's I think it's somewhat similar to everywhere else, but it's just a little bit more volatile.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, what was it like that moment when your sales started coming in? Like when you actually started selling books. What was that like for you? Did you
I
expect
was
that? Like,
it
what
was
did you expect
it
it to
was weird because I've been like I tested a couple of sites, a couple of writing group
be?
um,
Yeah,
um, bots, and they would like I knew because I already knew what a bucket of crabs looked like. I knew that I was aware that I could bump into a similar situation. I could face a similar situation, and pretty much everyone who read like excerpts that I posted said like,
yeah.
no, this is terrible, this is horrible. You are doomed. You will never succeed. You're an idiot. I think there was like one unique comment that said like, from the way you write, I know that you smell.
Oh wow,
It
what
was
an
like
ability.
genius level, like quote unquote genius level. And all the while I was already selling books. I was selling books while they were telling me that it's like this is
Yeah.
useless, this is pathetic, this is blah 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 blah, and this and that, and I was already selling books. And I wasn't like, I think in the first month alone, I sold like over 100 books or something.
Whoa, what was that like waking up to that?
Eh, I was like, okay, it's not going to last. They'll probably just stop buying them, and like I was um, back then, even though my health uh, wasn't super bad, I had some
Yeah,
issues, and I was like, okay, yes, like that. They will probably stop buying the books, stop buying the first book. I'm still on the look for like another job just in case. And I was doing like some side projects with different guys from my old jobs that I knew, to like supplement my income. But at one point, I saw that the reader my reader base,
yeah,
my it's not vanishing. It's growing.
yeah,
um and like despite the fact that I had like, I think the very first so-called review was um someone who was like actually hating on the book, like,
huh.
yeah, hating on it. um I think that was an attempt by somebody else, who um a friend of mine who was actually working. I met him through games, through the D&D. He's one of the foreign friends I had.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't know that, but he was like somehow was working for Amazon
Oh,
somewhere. And he said like, okay, I'll just like check this for you. And apparently, it was like this. I'm just going to say it like this, that this first review, so-called review,
Yeah.
it wasn't written in good faith.
Huh.
Was written by someone who had an agenda.
Oh.
But it helped me actually, because there were people who later contacted me. They became regular readers. Um, they became interested because the very first review was like that, and they became interested. It sparked their interest, and they got the book just because of that review.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. So it kind of like sparked back at him. So now, how has it been since you've been kind of at this since the '90s, trying to get your books out? And say you released this book at what, around early 2000s ish?
2016
Okay,
was
2016. So it's been
the
for a while.
2016 2017. That was the like the English draft was like
Okay,
completed and released.
gotcha. So how have you seen sort of like the publishing scene on the internet evolve over time? Like, was that available when you started going at it? Was that always an option? The internet? Like, what's up?
Um, the internet was an option, but you had like different pages where authors, that was before the easier options with the Patreon and similar sites. Like now you have like thousand sites, like Buy Me a Coffee. What was that other one? Like I forgot them. But
There's a
back
lot.
then, yeah, that was a lot. But back then you didn't have them, and you could um, you could ask for PayPal, like direct PayPal payments. Um, at a point, I sold, I think it was like two books I sold through PayPal, like for the ebook version of it before it was even published on Amazon. Before I self-published it, I think I used PayPal and I sold like two books for $1 each, so basically $2.
Too bad.
Um, $2. So basically, before I published them on Amazon, I sold two of them. And one of the people who got them, who got the book, was confused, and he was like, "Okay, so yes, you told me that that was like the introduction, like the first um, piece in the series, but why is it written like that?" And I explained, and he was intrigued and waited for like, I think a year, maybe. Was it a year? I think it was like, no, it was less than a year, because the second book was already completed. And he waited for a few months, and when I he already saw that I published on Amazon, and then he saw the second one and he grabbed it, and he was like, now I know. Now I fully realize why you've done all the things that you did. So, and he was like, he was from Germany. This guy, and he helped. He was one of the first readers
Oh,
of a
okay.
group of readers who helped with, because I didn't have money for hiring editors. After I hired the first editor, I spent
Yeah.
all of my money. I had no money. I've just paid off all of the debts that I had,
Uh-huh.
all of the loans. I barely had enough money, and most of the money I spent on medication, because I had like a serious health issue, and I spent most of this money, which I had set aside for jump starting my writing career, pretty much. I have set them aside for like paying for, let's say, edits, um, for formatting, for covers, etc., etc. Because I assumed that the sum would be enough for at least a book, maybe two. But sadly, I had to buy meds and stuff. So, and this guy, he was like, yes, yes, I agree. He assumed at the beginning, he assumed that I wasn't going anywhere with with the first book. That is just like a collection of short vignettes, short stories. But when I delivered the second one, um, he quickly picked up everything. So yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah, that happens sometimes. You always got to pick up the second one, see if you really dig into the literature. Um,
Yeah.
so, what brought you to the Iron Age? Because that's essentially where we met. And
Mm.
yeah, how many books did you have published by then?
6.
Six, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that actually. Let's go into your second book. Did you have that already planned out after your first?
Yes. I have, like I mentioned earlier, I already planned all 10
Yeah,
of 10 of the StarShatter books, every single one of them. I know how it ends. I know
yeah.
how.
How it all
Uh,
wraps up in the end.
yeah, yeah.
How many books do you have left till it's all wrapped up?
Two,
Two.
two,
Not bad.
because the
It's been a
eighth
journey.
one is over 60% completed.
Gotcha.
Uh, uh, it's in the it's entering it's about to enter in the third act, like the ending.
So when you publish your first book, do you think you'd actually get here? Like, did you have your doubts?
I was hoping that I'd be getting here, but I had my doubts, and that's why I said that I was actively looking for another job.
And when
But
did you
then,
decide to stop looking?
yeah, well, when my health deteriorated and I could no longer do uh, engage in all of these highly physically demanding jobs that I
Yeah.
usually worked. Um, so yeah, that was when I because
So yeah,
I've already been preparing for this. I had, like, as I mentioned, I had some money set
yeah,
aside.
a little bit of
I
cash.
had the drafts ready. I just had to, like, finalize the draft and edit them and uh, get the covers and everything and just publish them one after the other.
Yeah. So it became a lifestyle after a while. Then.
Uh, well, yes, you could say that. Um, and in the Iron Age, I found I first watched the guy with the glasses who is prone to raging and ranting, of whom I speak, on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he coined the term Iron Age. And I was looking on YouTube and I found Royce. And when I found Royce, I discovered that he had a channel on Gilded. And I've already had like a tiny channel on Gilded. I was talking to different friends from abroad about all kinds of book related stuff. and not just book related stuff, but primarily story and book related things, um, to further improve the drafts, historically and culturally and technologically. Um, so it was very easy for me to then join um, the established channel, and there I found you and many others. But before that, I had the social media route, which I began to walk in order to promote my work, and it began on Minds. I was I'm still on Minds, but the site is now pretty much dead. It was like a hollow shell of itself. But in the beginning, it was an excellent place. Was full of various creators, all kinds of awesome people, musicians, artists, scribblers like myself, um, songwriters, poets, wonderful people. And I found I grew my audience there, and also went to Parlor, in the beginning of Parlor. That's another social media site, and I found friends like, Moral Officer Grant there, and many others, whom I um, asked, just in case something happened to Parlor, to move on Minds temporarily, and they did. And yeah, then Parlor got nuked, but they were already on Minds. So um, at that point, Minds was like at the peak, where you had a interconnected web of creators, which you could ask for collaboration, projects, like different projects, which I did. Like I wrote some songs, I wrote promotional material for them, for artists, for musicians and such. And they drew some art for me, and some even made some songs, sang songs. Um, and that was before I even went to Gilded and found the Iron Age. I was before that, so I was pretty much Iron Aging before the Iron Age became a thing.
All right. Yeah. Before the name was just
Yeah,
coined, I'd say.
yeah,
Yes, but how's it been since then? What's the journey since? Have things changed a bit? You know?
yeah, yeah. It's changed, pretty much because you have the downfall of postmodernist schlock, which was like passing for entertainment in the last like 15 years. And when Rageaholic coined the term Iron Age, that was perhaps the beginning of the end for Hollywood and the others, because they've been existing on pretty much on financial life support, like specific investments and such, and grants, um, from various governmental programs. They they would not be here otherwise. Um, and I'm talking also. I'm including in this bracket the various groups of journals under different hats, like let's say Kotaku and what was that the other few
Yeah.
yeah, groups who are like they are actively critiquing anything that is not like uh, that is not like Stalin and Mao adjacent,
Uh-huh.
pretty much. So right now, things have changed to such an extent that uh, the people, the everyday reader or moviegoer or gamer is is starved out of normal entertainment mediums, and in some cases they lower their standards, and they accept something coming out of the dying mainstream because it's like it has a nostalgic factor, or it kind
Yeah.
of feels or plays or reads like the normal stuff that people had back in the day. um, and then you have like the rise of the indie sphere, including the Iron Age, um, which is consistently delivering uh, more like diamonds in the rough, which they get polished
Yeah.
and shinier with each new diamond. Like you have much better quality and much greater control over everything. Um, and you now have various indie publishers who are not beholden to specific corporate interests and other interests. Um, and this is facilitating the already raging dumpster fire of the mainstream, the old mainstream. It's facilitating it even like it accelerates. It's like pouring not gasoline. You're dumping like uh, barrels full of kerosene in the dumpster fire. You're not just
Yeah.
pouring gasoline on it. So everything is further accelerating, and in the coming like years, maybe 2 years, we will maybe 2 or 3 years, we will probably experience like some mass event, mass collapse event, um, and some of these kept propped up corpses, rotting corpses, mainstream corpses, they'll just like fall apart, they'll rot away, turn into dust.
Yeah. Have you seen any local change?
By local, you mean here?
Yeah.
No. Things here are it's it they are getting worse actually.
Really? How so?
Well, they're getting worse because we have like an evolving culture of censorship here. I'm talking about Europe, um, and it's gradually going to become worse before before the people are, and in certain places, in certain countries, people are going to. I hope there are signs that they are going to rise up, and They will disobey peacefully, um, just like, let's see, that thing with the flags in Britain. But in our circles, we have these, like, a lot of new authors, writers, journalists, bloggers, um, who embody the spirit of the Iron Age, um, and they do not wish, to abide by these, like, stifling, old, globalist, corpo bullshits.
Yeah.
It's things will probably get a bit worse here before they get better. But when they do, it's going to be perhaps the Silver Age.
The Silver
After,
Age.
yeah, after
Right?
the Iron Age, we'll have the Silver Age, and then the Golden Age.
New age of fictional creation. But with that,
Yeah,
we
it's
are headed towards the half hour mark, so maybe we get out of here a little early. What are you working on now? What's next for you? And where can people find your stuff?
well, as I mentioned earlier, I am working actively towards the completion of the eighth book in the StarShatter series, and uh, refurbishing the sixth one. You can find all of them on Amazon, all of the StarShatter books, including the two collections, story collections, A Mandate of Sword and Railgun and The Blood of Terran, which they contain uh, extras, like nice, big glossaries, and some bonus stories, and even, like, with the second one, The Blood of Tyrants, you have, like, a full novella, which is a courtesy of my readers. And of course, the two, so far, two out of, I think, 12 shorter Conan-esque style novellas about Velin the Torrent. They are all set in StarShatter universe, of course. And the first book of a shorter series, which is supposed to be a trilogy. We'll see. Uh, this is titled Lord of Bones, which is set in a fantasy setting. Which it's a shadow fantasy. Of course, the rest of my stuff, including all three novellas and everything, sci-fi that I wrote for the last 2 years, and fantasy too, including my poems and haiku. Um, you can find on my Substack, which I think you posted the link.
Yeah, I posted that earlier to what your latest.
The
So,
Black Knight Substack .com. So
yeah.
yeah, this is where you can find me. Please, please, if you like to, like, get engaged in my latest Vote Your Adventure story, do read it and vote. Every vote counts.
Excellent. Yes, it does. And how often do you post those?
I post those weekly, every Friday. Uh,
Every Friday. So you got another one coming up this Friday then.
yeah, yeah.
Just a couple
The
days.
previous ones, like the first and the second, I think they were like 15, 16,
Mhm.
17 chapters long.
Oh, wow.
So that's,
That's some reading.
yeah.
For you junkies out there, there's plenty of literature, and you can all find that at his Substack. As for me, we're going to go ahead and call it out today. I know it's super duper early. Tell them how early it is in the morning over there.
Yeah, it's 2 in the morning.
There you go. So this man needs some sleep. Everybody, hit up his Substack. Buy yourself some books. There's a Amazon link down below in the description. Give the video a like, share with your friends, and let them know that this man exists. We exist. Tune in again, and we'll have an extra author next time with R.H. Snow. With that, we are out of here, everybody. Much love. Have yourself a wonderful day. You don't